All right, let's go ahead and get started. So right now we're grabbing, so in our search form, we're grabbing the specific artist from the input query. It's a post request, so we're appending or adding an artist key to the query dict, and we're passing all that entire request into the concerts list view method. So in the concerts list, we're grabbing that specific artist from that query, that post dict query. We're passing that artist into this generate Ticketmaster URL. So it's passing in the artist down here. We're modifying the artist by replacing any spaces, if there are any, with %20. We have our Ticketmaster key right here, and we're returning an F string of the actual API endpoint of the Ticketmaster with our modified artist passed in as a keyword, as well as our API key passed in as well. So we're coming it up here. That's our Ticketmaster URL. And then we've imported the requests library as REQ, and we're doing a GET request to that Ticketmaster URL, right? Which is this, and which is this. So we're passing that in here. We're getting our response back. We're converting that response into JSON to make it, to be able to parse through it. We're assigning that variable a data, or assigning that response to a data variable. And then we are looping through that data and trying to extract the specific information we want from that. So, but with that, does anyone have any questions up until this point? Now I'm going to want to store that data somewhere. So I'm going to say event data. I'm going to just have it being an empty array right now. And then I'm going to say new event. I'm going to pass in, because I want to extract, for me personally, you don't have to do this, but I kind of want to extract, let's open up Postman. I want to extract the event, the artist, as well as, is there, you know, the venue name as well as the location of latitude and longitude. So I'm going to grab the venue name, the location, and what is it, the artist name. I think this is the name of the concert, the event name. So in order to get that, I'm going to grab the name of the event. So event, we've already kind of done that name. And then the location, in order to get to the location, I need to go to events, and come down here, go back to events, embed venues, which is an array. So it looks like I have to grab the first element of the array and grab the location. So I can do event, is it embed again? Embedded, and go to venues and grab the first element, or the first index, and then a location. So it's going to this first embedded, so they can come up here, first embedded, events, it's looping through all this, and then in the event, I'm going to embed it again, which is down here, grabbing the venues, and then the first index there, and then the location. So venues, index 0, location. And then I want to say the venue, it's pretty much the same thing. Because I want to grab that first index. And then instead of location, I want to do the name, which is the name of that venue. because the venues.name. So the embedded has venues, attraction. All right, cool. Then, so I have an individual event. I'll say like, yeah, new event. And then I want to append that new event to this event data array. So if I print event data, so it loops through everything, grabs it, then once it breaks out of that loop, it's going to print this event data. So I should have an array of dictionaries of a name, location, and a venue. What questions do you have about that? If you want, you can only grab the location or some other information that it gives you the location because we want to map that specific, we want to have a Google map render on the screen. So we need some other location data, whether you used the address, I don't know how accurate that is, or the specific latitude and longitude. So if I refresh this, whoop, I'll go back, refresh, Kesha, search it, get an error. But if I come down here, so you have an array, Kesha, location. Location looks like it's an object with longitude and latitude, followed by the venue, which is Manchester Academy. This is the first index, or index at 0, the value at index 0. Here's the value at indexed 1, and so forth. All right. Now we have this event data, but now we actually want to grab some, I'm going to actually render, sorry, I'm going to return, so render request, and then, what is it, concerts/concerts list.html, and maybe pass in some data right now. All right, let's just not pass anything in yet. Just so we don't, all right, just so we don't keep getting errors. So we have this concerts list. Let's create a template for that. Concerts list.html. So just like the search form, we need to extend the base. And then end block. I'm going to refresh, hopefully it works. So I get something, but like I haven't actually done anything yet. All right. So let's actually see what we can do. In our views, we have our event data, but now we actually have to render, let's go into Google Maps because we want to grab a source. So let's go to Google Maps, embed API. Right here. You can use your API if you started that from that lecture, but if you remember, we need to generate, let's go developer guide. So we have the Space Needle, but I wanted something that has like, uses latitude and longitude. So do we have any place search, street view, Eiffel Tower? So do we have anything that has like latitude and longitude? Okay, the following your parameter. So it looks like I can use this one for the latitude and longitude. So we need a center parameter or a center keyword.
Hey Tom, I don't want to interrupt you, but I did this same thing this morning. If you do that one, I don't know if you're trying to place a marker, right? This one's not placing a red marker. It's just focusing. It's centering the view.
Yep.
You see how it says view and then the question mark? You're just looking at that spot, but you're not placing the red marker.
Yeah.
If you want to place the red marker, you have to change view to place, and then you can't use center. You have to use the Q.
So here you have to do Q. So you change this to place and then here to Q.
Yeah, and then you can actually pass latitude, comma, longitude to Q, and it will like interpret it in the back.
Awesome. Yeah, I haven't done that yet, but let's try this first, and then let's do it your way because I haven't done that yet.
Yeah, you're probably going to want to set the red marker. I did the same exact order you're about to do. So,
and I noticed when I did latitude and longitude, it wasn't directly over the venue. It was kind of like, at least when I did it, was like a little bit off, but you know. All right, so I actually want to create. So I've got create something like this, but in place of the center, I'm going to want to do, is it latitude and longitude or longitude and latitude? Yeah, I don't know. Latitude and longitude.
I think latitude's first and then longitude second.
Yep. So something like latitude, comma, longitude. And my API key, do I have an API key here? I don't really remember. I got to go find it somewhere. I think I have it. Let's just. Here it is. Should I copy it over? So my API key is this. Cool. So let's just move this down here just to give it some space. So what I want to do is actually in my event location, it's got latitude and longitude right now, but I want to replace this location with just this specific. Let's actually copy this with this. So I want to replace what's in my event data with that. So I'm going to create a def, generate Google Maps URL, and I'm going to pass in the event or just event data. I'm going to pass that entire, all that data in here into this method. So I'm going to actually recall this, say like modified event data and pass in generate Google Maps URL event data. All right. So I pass it in here. I'm going to have my Google Maps key equals this. And then I have to, since this event data is an array, I have to loop through, yeah, event. So for event and event data, I'm going to print event location. I just want to see what that looks like, just to ensure that it is a object of latitude and longitude. So if I refresh that, continue, go back to here, here's my latitude and longitude. Cool. But now what I want to reassign that value to this value. So I can say, oop, oh, that's ugly. See if this works. And then make it a string. And I don't need this part. Say, make it an F string. F string, Google Maps key right here. And then this latitude and longitude, I need to grab event location. Is it longitude, latitude?
Just remember, it's always alphabetical that long.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually latitude equals that, longitude. That's actually good. I like that.
One of the few times it works out.
Yeah. It's just to make things easier, a little bit easier to read. Yeah, I think this works.
So you have latitude. I like that one better.
Yeah, what up, latitude? All right, so latitude, longitude. So what I'm doing, I'm looping through the event data that I'm passing in here, and I'm reassigning that location to this specific URL, which I'm going to need to use and pass it in to, let's go here, into this iframe inside my inside of my HTML, because it's right here. It's going to be, I pass it in via the source.
Looks like you have latitude on line 31 as well.
Oh, that's where it came from. Thank you. Latitude, latitude. Cool. And then I just want to return that event data. So if I'm up here, so I'm assigning that. So I'm going to print the event data or the modified event data to see what that looks like. And I can actually come here, refresh it. I'm not displaying anything yet. Uh-oh. What does it say? Keyword search error. Another one. So I must have used it somewhere else. What error?
Same line, I think 31 or 32.
32.
Just been watching The Big Lebowski or something last night.
Watch that movie on repeat. All right, cool. It didn't break. So let's actually look at our modified. So I've got name, location, which is this big URL. And now we can actually just copy that. I just kind of want to see what that looks like. If I print it in here. Okay, must be using an iframe, so it won't work because I don't have it embedded anywhere. But if I take that, go into the quick start, does it work? And do I have like something I can use as like a template in here to check it? No, I don't think so. Anyway, so hopefully it works. We'll see when I actually render it to the screen. So we have this modified data. And now we can actually pass that in to here. So we could say like concerts equals modified, oh, nope, modified event data. I'm actually going to say returned data or HTML data equals, I'm going to pass in the artist, and I'm going to actually use this up here just because I might want to display that somewhere, and I'm going to do concerts. This is just how I did it. Concerts equals modified event data. And now I can just pass in HTML data because it's a dictionary. So now I can go into here, Ticketmaster. Where's my concerts list? I'm going to come over here. So inside of my block content, I can say, what do I want to do? Let's just print the artist searched. So it says H1, you searched for artist. Let's see what that looks like. If I refresh it, you search for Kesha. Cool. So I've got that. Now I can say, what I got? I can loop through for concert in concerts. Because this concerts data is this modified data, which is essentially this event data, which is an array. So I can loop through that array. But it also has the Google Maps HTTP source. So so let's just print everything. Print. So for concert, what do I have in concert? I've got the name, I have the location and venue. So let's just print everything. Concert dot name, location. Now the location is just going to be a big URL and venue. So let's refresh it. So here we go. We have Kesha. We have that Google Maps that we're going to be using for the embed. And we have the venue it's at. Then followed by this one, followed by this one. If I go back, I can search for, Lady Gaga. Go back, and there's a bunch of them for Lady Gaga. Now, let's look at that iframe and where'd it go? Developer guide. So this, instead of this iframe, do that. And then in here is where we'll want to put this concert location. Concert location. Does it need double?
I think yes. Yeah.
And let's see if that works. So if I refresh it, all right, we're starting to get something there. But all right, see, like I look at here, Lady Gaga, Chromatica Ball. It's at Wrigley Field, but this does not look like Wrigley Field. If I zoom out, it's a little off. And Chris, you said we can modify it by doing SetView in here. We can do, what is it?
I think it's place.
Place, and instead of center, it's
Q.
like that?
Oh no, just the letter Q.
Oh,
just
okay.
like the first example I think they had.
Like that?
Sorry, muted. Yep.
Cool. Let's see if that works. If I refresh. Yeah. So yeah, it places the thing, but that looks like the latitude and longitude isn't 100% correct, but I'm like, here it is correct. What is this? The Grand Arena at Grand West. So that, yeah. So I'm just going to keep it like that for right now. And instead of using this specific, just basic HTML, let's kind of pretty it up a little bit. So does anybody have any questions about kind of what I'm doing with regards to grabbing the concert name, concert venue? This is just data I chose to extract from the API. And I extracted the location using the latitude and longitude. If you extracted it differently, I'm not quite sure if there's another way we can extract the data. So it looks like we have postal code, no, country. So we have an address here. Like that might work. See if you can get it somewhere else.
You should have, I'm looking at the API docs, and they're supposed to have address, city, state, and postcode in there as well. But
Okay.
they're all separate key value pairs.
Oh, let's just look here. So we have city, Chicago. Oh, so right here, this is city, state,
There you go.
and address. Yeah. So if you want, you can grab the city, state, and address and extract that data and pass it into the Google Maps. It'll probably be more accurate. But I just use the location using latitude and longitude just to keep things relatively simple for right now.
The potential cool thing about having lat long, Tom, is, and I don't know, does Django have a simple GIS library that doesn't require like afternoon to install, or you could do like, you know, set your within 50 miles as a parameter in your search? Because it has lat long being returned, you should be able to pretty simply compute. Right? Don't give me all the returns. Filter your results by distance from, right?
Yeah, I'm sure you could do some kind of radius based off of that exact point of 50
Yeah.
miles.
I didn't know if there was a library that, I'm sure, I know there's a GeoDjango, but I've already tried installing it on machine smoke. So
Yeah, I don't know of one. Yeah, I've never dealt with a whole lot of geolocation stuff using Django before.
I ran into one that was doing IP. Actually, I think that was a link that Kanisha and Eric just shared. There was something about doing an IP search, but that won't do any good here.
So let's kind of pretty this up a bit. Let's continue using Bootstrap. So for the search, it's like you searched for Lady Gaga or whatever. I'm going to use some Bootstrap and throw in a little alert, or not alert, whatever it's called. You search for Lady Gaga. And to make this bold, you can do a strong tag, or I think a B tag also works. I'm not. Oh, whoop. Does B work for bold?
Should, but I thought one of them was deprecated.
Yeah, one of them is deprecated. I'm not quite sure. I just use strong, but bold works. The B works. And then also, let's grab some other information. I'm going to create a card using Bootstrap's card, passing in the venue, the concert location, and the concert name. So we can do that. A quick refresh. All right, looks a little bit better. And then, but what if I type in something stupid that's not, I can get an error. So let's add some error handling. And in order to do that, I look at the response data. So if I check out, if I print response dot, or whatever, data. When I type in something that's inaccurate, click refresh. Oh, whoops. If I click that, get an error. I can look here. This is what I'm getting back. Here's the href. It says page size 20, total elements 0. So if I get something back that doesn't have any elements in it, I'm going to return something else. So I'm just going to do a simple if statement right here. Just, this is what I did real quick. If page, so it comes in here, data, page, which is a dictionary, and which is also a dictionary. So page, total elements equals 0. I'm going to render this other request, concert list, that just returns a search artist. And in my search concert form, or my concerts list HTML, I'm going to say if concerts lists, so it says if there's concerts, render that card, else render a Jumbotron that says your search returns 0 results, and then a back button. So if I go back and I refresh and I type in something that does not exist, oh no, artist search is not defined. Okay, so here, just do artist, let's do a refresh right here. Click back, let's do 311 right here. So it's rendering all the pages. And wasn't there like a, let's look at the challenge again. So look up the available endpoints. Which one do you need to figure out the next 5 concerts? So I'm just gonna grab the first 5. When I'm looping through that, see if this works still. Go back to my search. If I type in something that doesn't exist, or search term 0 results, Lady Gaga. And here we go. See, like Fenway Park is way off. But 1, 2, 3. So does anybody have any questions about kind of how I did this? You could have done it differently. That's totally okay. I mean, the whole point, the whole exercise of this challenge was, you know, to utilize a third-party API, which we did with the Ticketmaster API, parsing through a lot of JSON data. That's actually a big part of all of that. And then also to pass that data or manipulate that data into another API, which we used for the Google Maps data. I want to see if Kesha works, because I know Kesha doesn't have enough. Okay.
Did that actually say, because one of the Fenway Parks was right, and the other one, was it Fenway Parking?
Oh, was it?
I didn't catch it. I scrolled down and I just didn't. Oh no, it does say Fenway Park.
Yeah.
But it is in the parking lot or close
Yeah.
to.
And same with Wrigley Field in the cemetery, which is a pretty appropriate spot for the Cubs. I'm just joking.